All righty, I think we're going to get started now. Thank you everybody for joining us today for a virtual tour of nonprofit resources during this time of COVID-19. My name is Amanda and I'm from 10C, and I'm here today with Kevin Pappas from 10C and Christine Sylvester from YNPN Orange County. Before we kind of jump into today's agenda and sharing more about our organizations and the resources we have for you, we did just want to go over a few housekeeping items. So just so everybody knows, this is being recorded. So if you have colleagues that you'd like to share this with, or if you have to hop off a little early, we will be recording everything and emailing it out to all of you that are on this call today. If you do have a question, please type them in the Q&A question. We will be addressing questions at the end. So if you have questions throughout, please feel free to just type them into the chat and Kevin will make sure that those are received and read back out. So go ahead and utilize that function. And then if you want to share any links or resources that you've come across that you found to be particularly helpful, you can also post those in the chat and we will add them to our resource repository. Thank you. So just wanted to go over our agenda for today. Again, thank you for being here. So we're just going to go over who is speaking today and then doing our resources from both 10C and YNPN OC. From the 10C side, we will go over our Emergency Volunteer Center and disaster-related volunteer opportunities, our COVID-19 resource page, and our nonprofit support network, which is utilized on the Mobilize platform and mobile application. Then we'll jump into YNPN's resources with their resource page, as well as the variety of resources that they've pulled together, including podcasts, Facebook pages, and webinars. Then we'll go through our Q&A session, and finally we'll close out. And if there's anything lingering after the end of the session, you can feel free to reach out to any of us and we're happy to circle back with you. So just a quick introduction of who we are. So for those of you who are not familiar with 10C, our mission is to accelerate nonprofit success. And we do this by connecting companies, nonprofits, and volunteers together to create broader social impact. Again, my name is Amanda Green. I am our Organizational Development Services Director, which basically means I oversee our consulting, training, and membership services for nonprofits. And with me, I have my colleague, Kevin Pappas.
Good morning, everyone. Like Amanda said, my name is Kevin. I am the training manager with 10C. So I work alongside Amanda and our team on the nonprofit side, developing all of our training resources and our certificates and our professional development programs. So excited to be joining you guys today. We're doing a wide variety of different webinars. So we'll be sending that information out and it's on our resource pages you can check out. But if you ever have any questions about training or professional development during this time, feel free to shoot me an email. My email is listed right there on the screen, and I'm excited to be with you guys on the call. So looking forward to jumping in.
Hi, everybody. I'm Christine Sylvestri, a board member with Young Nonprofit Professionals Network, Orange County, YNPN OC. And thank you. First of all, I want to say to 10C, Amanda Green and Kevin, we were really quick to put this all together, and that's thanks to 10C for making it possible. So I want to extend my gratitude to 10C, Amanda, and Kevin on behalf of our board for this exciting opportunity. This is our very first webinar. So I've been a board member for 3 years now with YNPN OC. I love it. I get to work alongside other dedicated and mission-driven nonprofit professionals. And the Young Nonprofit Professionals Network, we are basically what the chambers of commerce are for businesses. We are for nonprofit professionals. So our mission is to provide social and professional resources that support our nonprofit sector. And we like to say the young to young at heart. So we're welcome to connecting all of our nonprofit sector, learning from each other. And normally we have in-person networking events, but due to everything going on right now, this is an exciting opportunity for us to explore, virtual. So ynpnoc.org is our website. and we're 100% volunteer run. And we do serve under YNPN National, which is a national group that has over 40 YNPN chapters across the nation and over 50,000 members of nonprofit professionals. So that's a little bit about us. I'll pass it over to you, Amanda.
Thanks, Christine. And before we jump into the resources, I know Kevin has a poll, so we wanted to take a quick poll of the group. You can just click there on your screen to be able to participate in the poll. So the questions are, what webinar topics are you in need of most right now? And what is your top challenge right now? We really want to hear. As Kevin mentioned, we have been providing a series of webinars. Last week, we had one on our Emergency Volunteer Center, as well as our Meet the Funder webinar. This week, we had one on HR and compliance. Today, we have one on our resource page. Tomorrow, we have one on managing teams remotely. And on Thursday, we have legal implications during COVID-19. Coming up, we also have some on board governance, skills-based volunteerism through companies, and can continue to add and incorporate your suggestions.
Looks like a few people are still responding. Yep.
Yeah, about half of you have voted. I'm seeing fundraising, volunteer management. That's a lot of what we've been hearing as well from other folks in terms of top challenges, a lot of different top challenges: financial health, remote programming, communications and marketing. And a lot of this is information that we do have available in our resources. So I'm excited to be able to share that with you so that you can access it if you need help and support in those targeted areas as well. Thank you to everybody who's contributed. Yeah, seeing a lot with fundraising and financial health and sustainability, as well as communications and marketing. That's one of the ones we might be adding next week as well, communications and marketing webinar. Alrighty. So thank you so much for sharing all this. I'll definitely be mindful of this as we start to go through our resources. As I mentioned, we do have resources kind of in all of these different areas. So I'm glad to hear that these are the areas of support that you need. So I am going to close the poll for now. And then just so everybody else wants to see the results, we have the poll results here for you so you yourselves can see. So you see fundraising and remote programming were one of the top ones. Okay. So if we jump in, we're going to go over a few things on the 10C portion of our virtual tour. As I mentioned, we are going to be talking about the Emergency Volunteer Center and our disaster-related volunteer opportunities. We'll be going over our COVID-19 resource page, which is primarily targeted at nonprofits, but we do have resources on there for our volunteers as well as our funding community as well. And lastly, we're going to be talking about our nonprofit support network. So let me cut out of this and show you our Emergency Volunteer Center. So if you go to 10c.org, pretty simple, we actually have right here on the front page, very first thing is our OC Emergency Volunteer Center. So for those of you that don't know, 10C actually serves as the Emergency Volunteer Center for all of Orange County. And so it is important to note that if you have issues that you're facing that are critical in nature, definitely reach out to us for support, as we do have support kind of at that county level. So if you click here, actually, you can get involved, and we can see that there is a series of projects, as well as for volunteers, for disasters, and nonprofits. So you're able to request disaster volunteers right through here. You can contact them on the website or email disaster@10c.org. And we also are sharing a lot of stories with the media. So I don't know if those of you have seen, but we have been pulling questions from our nonprofit community to just share both positive and uplifting stories, as well as stories of getting kind of creative and innovative during this time. So if you
Hey,
do have any
Amanda,
stories that you'd like to, yes.
we are unable to see the web page. It's still on the PowerPoint. Um,
Oh, it is?
yeah, is there a
Okay,
way you
hold
can
on.
drag over the screen?
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries.
Let's see. Let's try this again. Can you see it now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that, everybody. Here I was just going on and on and on. I can restate what I've said. Okay, so we have our 10c.org webpage, as I mentioned, and right here on the first page, we do have our Emergency Volunteer Center. So as I was mentioning, we are the Emergency Volunteer Center for Orange County, and we've worked with the county for the last few weeks to provide that support in terms of disaster-related relief from a volunteerism perspective. So if you're an organization that's in need of disaster services, or you're a volunteer that is looking to support your community in a disaster-related project, this is the place to go. So you hit this button, get involved, and we have a variety of options here. So on this particular page, you're able to sign up for urgent needs and anticipated skill-based needs. You can actually click here to sign up. So if I click here, this is what it looks like. So you're able to share your opportunity through here. You're able to click here to see additional opportunities. I'm gonna click back. If you wanna talk to somebody, you can actually contact disaster@10c.org, and one of our volunteer services team members will be able to speak to you to help you figure out how to scope your project to get the support that you need, or defer kind of resources straight to you if it's a dire situation. As I was mentioning, we also have kind of the opportunity to share a lot of great stories with the media. So we're working with Orange County Register, Orange County Business Journal, among others, to be able to share the stories of creativity, innovation, and kind of the community coming together during this time. And so if you have any stories that you would like to share with us, please feel free to reach out. You can email the same disaster@10c.org, or you can also contact us directly, Kevin or myself, and we can make sure that that gets to the appropriate party. For those of you that are volunteers, you can actually click in here and you're able to see our volunteer opportunities. So this is our volunteer calendar, and so it's loading, but you're able to see all of the different opportunities there are. So you can see if something is an urgent need, and it's marked as an urgent need if it is disaster related as a project. And so you can click on here and see all of the different organizations that have posted opportunities on here. So we can keep loading. So there's a lot of organizations that are looking for support right now. And so if you are an organization that is looking for support, your opportunity will also be listed on here. Okay, so if you have any questions related to this, please put them in the chat and we're happy to share more information about that. But in the meantime, I'm going to go back to our homepage so I can share a little bit more about our resources. So as I shared, this is kind of at the top of the page with the Emergency Volunteer Center. If we scroll down, we actually see that we have our nonprofit resource page. I'm going to click right here. And so as I mentioned, this is designed for nonprofits, but we do have some additional pieces on here as well. So the top piece is the nonprofit piece. The center piece is the volunteer piece. So if you're a volunteer that's looking for assistance, you can visit a variety of websites. As I mentioned, we have our volunteer calendar. There's also other organizations that you can seek volunteer opportunities with as well. So among them is United Way, California Volunteers, Volunteer Match, and Catch a Fire, which has a variety of virtual volunteer opportunities. So if you have volunteers that don't want to necessarily leave their home, this is a good way to kind of put those volunteer opportunities there or to seek out those volunteer opportunities. We also have for the funding community, so people can give to the OC Community Resilience Fund, which has been put on by Charitable Ventures, the Orange County United Way Pandemic Relief Fund, which I believe just surpassed $1 million, very exciting, the Philanthropy Pledge, and we've been putting some legislative pieces here as well. So as we know, the CARES Act just passed and there's more legislation coming kind of on the nonprofit front in terms of supporting the community. So we've ensured that that's kind of incorporated here as well. And we also have some links to our partners. So if you have other organizations that you need specific and targeted areas in, we have AFP, we have ATD, Charitable Ventures, Executive Coaches, Orange County Community Foundation, OC Grant Makers, OC United Way, Public Law Center, YNPN, and the Giannaschi Center. And just some additional resources and pages here for 211 Orange County if you need individual or family assistance, looking for live legislative and health-related updates in the state, the World Health Organization, and then additional resources. But I'm going to go back up to the nonprofit section because I think that's why the bulk of us are here. So we actually have our nonprofit support network right at the top, which I'll explain in a second. And then we also have information on the CARES Act. So right at the front, we know that there's a lot of information that's needed on the CARES Act. So we have that right here. We also have our webinars that are upcoming. So as I mentioned, there were some webinars. You're on the one today, this one. We have one tomorrow. And we need to update the page so we can have some of our additional webinars on there. We have some of our financial assistance pages listed, but we actually have an entire database here that includes free software applications, webinars, articles and publications. We have funding opportunities, we have tools, we have templates, and all you have to do is click this button and it'll take you to the page that gives you kind of all that in one place. And so when we designed this, we really wanted to make sure that nonprofits kind of had a one-stop shop to be able to go to, because we're all getting so much information and we're getting inundated. And so being able to kind of go to one place that you know has trusted information, and just, you know, you can bookmark this page right here and keep it and just know that it's updated on a regular basis. So now I'm actually going to go into our support network. I'm just wanting to make sure that everybody can see my screen. Can everybody see my screen? I'm gonna hope so. So thank you, Kevin. So this is our Orange County Nonprofit Support Network. So one of the things that we realized during this time is that in addition to looking for resources, organizations are really looking for opportunities to connect with one another and to get a variety of assistance opportunities from each other and just kind of lift each other up. So this is our Orange County Nonprofit Support Network. We can send out the link to join. As of right now, we have 135 members, and basically it's a community of nonprofit professionals that are looking to share resources and support each other. So we put our Ask for Positive Stories. We have our webinars listed on here. And we're looking at creating some additional subgroups and around topics and around job functions and potentially impact area as well. And so this is really something that we've started, but we're hoping that other people can get involved with and kind of spur forward. And so we invite all of you to join the Nonprofit Support Network. We also have, you know, events in here, so it's easy to kind of navigate. We have files. And what's really cool is, in addition to being a web-based platform, this is also a mobile application. So you can download it on your phone and you're able to reply really easily on your phone. And you also get a digest in your email, in your inbox. So if you're not comfortable logging into it, you are able to just reply back via email to any of the question prompts, as well as to say that you're attending the event. So it's pretty cool. I also wanted to share with you, for those that are on the call that are in the CEO or executive director position, we have worked with Dawn Reese of the Wooden Floor to help launch the Nonprofit CEO Forum. So Dawn had created this as something for her kind of small network of CEO friends, her closest and nearest and dearest, to be able to talk about just some of the issues that we're facing during COVID-19. And as you can see, it's grown over 60 members. And so we have a variety of things in here as well. We have weekly calls. We have a lot of files that have been shared, you know, during the events. So different templates that organizations can use based on the calls. We have recaps of the calls, meeting minutes. And so these have been really nice because we've featured some guests on the call to be able to talk about a specific topic. So we had somebody talk about HR practices. This week, we're going to have somebody talk about board governance and marketing and communications, and just be able to provide that necessary support. So if you are a CEO, definitely sign up for this as well, and we can send you the link to sign up if you're not already part of this. So we hope to have both of you involved, or all of you involved in some capacity in both of these organizations, as well as utilizing our resources. So thank you. I'm going to stop now and actually turn it over to Christine for her portion to share all the amazing resources that YNPN has put together.
Thank you, Amanda. That was amazing. Like Amanda said, 10C is a great one-stop shop for everything. We are doing our little part as much as we can And I'll go ahead and share my screen here for our YNPNOC website. One moment. Can you all see that?
Yep, we're all
Yeah,
good, Christine.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for confirming. So of course, we want you to go to 10C and check out all their amazing resources. I'm on the app myself, Mobilize, and I love it. So we are doing our part in sharing resources as well. So this is our website, ynpnoc.org. If you go right here to the resources tab, we have our resources that were pre-COVID listed here. And then you'll see our COVID-19 specific resources for you. So if you just open that up, you're gonna see our webinars, links that we've compiled. Our board members also want to be a support system to you at this time of great change. So we have a number of Facebook pages, podcasts. I'm sure you all are attending all these amazing free webinars out there. So we've compiled and done a lot of different research out there and posted all of these links here. We also have some volunteer needs that people reached out to us, and we've posted them on this page as well for our local nonprofits. And then, of course, we have our national and local resources. I also did want to point out you could stay connected to us as well on our social pages. If you go to our Contact Us page, we are also trying to put information out on our Facebook, our Instagram, and LinkedIn group and company page. And then also, I did want to share, if you would like to join our email list, you could do that from our page, the home page here. Anywhere you see that orange button that says join, you can enter your email address here. And we're also sending out in our email list these resources and links. So you can go ahead and take advantage of all the free webinars out there related to COVID. I'm going to go back to the presentation and also share some additional resource highlights that we wanted to do. Can you see my screen right now back to the PowerPoint, Kevin or Amanda?
No, I see your web page.
Okay, so I have to do new share, right? Let me do that.
There you go.
Now you see it, right? Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you for confirming. So I just wanted to kind of highlight some resources that our board and all of us have, utilized and are looking to right now. So some podcasts. I'm not sure if any of you listen to Joan Gary. I'm pretty sure everybody knows about her. But if not, she had a great podcast episode. If you feel like you need a pep talk, she talked all about leadership in the time of COVID, nurturing your tribe. So I thought it was a great podcast episode. And of course, she has other ones popping up. She was recently on the LinkedIn Live feature that they had, and she had a great live interview giving advice. And all these links too, I know Kevin will be emailing later, and they're on our YNPNOC website as well. Another thing I wanted to highlight, I'm not sure if anybody's heard of Fundraise. They're a local digital fundraising tech company in Long Beach. And Justin Wheeler is their CEO, and he has a pretty much brand new podcast called Nonstop Nonprofit. He invites a ton of different guests, and I really enjoyed his podcast, so I wanted to share that as well as a resource. As far as Facebook pages. We do have, of course, BoardSource is another great go-to for any questions and resources for your board. And they also have a Facebook group that I believe is weekly that you can go ahead and hear from other leaders in the sector talking about business, contingency planning, anything related to your board management. So that's another great resource. And another one is OC Nonprofit Staying Connected. I'm not sure if a lot of you are already on this group, but we recently joined, and that's by Victoria Torres. So shout out and thanks to Victoria Torres from Samueli Foundation. She started this great group where there's postings on questions and webinars. So I highly recommend her group as well. As far as webinars go, I'm pretty sure all of you have so many popping up in your calendar, but here are a few that we wanted to highlight. The live Q&A with actually Fundraise again, it's happening tomorrow. Justin Wheeler from Fundraise is having Matt Scott. He is going to basically digest the 850-page relief package, the CARES Act, into bite-sized pieces, and he is going to have a live Q&A with Matt Scott to go over those key points with you. So I think that's going to be a great live Q&A for nonprofits to take advantage of. Another one I wanted to point out is SCORE Orange County. They're a nonprofit that supports local businesses, and also a lot of SCORE Orange County coaches are coaches at Executive Coaches of Orange County. So they have a webinar coming up about website best practices, Google Analytics, which if you don't know about Google Analytics, I learned about recently, and it's very helpful to use that data to basically, design and understand your website more and where traffic comes from. And with fundraising being top of mind right now, of course, you want your website and your site visitors to stay on your website and be engaged. So I thought that would be good to share. Another one is North Carolina Center for Nonprofits. They have a 4-part series online covering leadership in crisis, resiliency, fundraising. So they have a ton of different topics coming up. And another local nonprofit leader and friend is G3X, Gianneschi Center for Nonprofit Research. They're having their COVID survival kit for organizations, which I think is going to be perfect with Zoot Velasco and Victoria Torres hosting. So we wanted to highlight that. That's another perfect webinar for you to take advantage of, covering emergency funding, and then they're going to have a Q&A as well. And lastly, on this page, just a couple more webinars. I know there's been a lot of confusion and questions about the SBA loan program. So Cal Nonprofits, who is the statewide association in California for nonprofits, they are providing one of those webinars as well this week. And then there's a lot of fundraising webinars, as you all know, popping up. Nonprofit Learning Lab has one. There's another one that's a virtual conference that I recently heard about called Peer-to-Peer World Virtual Conference. So it's all about peer-to-peer fundraising, and all of these webinars are free, by the way. So that's going to be a great one, virtual conference for you to check out with a ton of different speakers. And then for some weekly resources, there is the Corona Chronicles. I'm sure maybe a lot of you have listened or heard of that one, but it's by the American Nonprofit Academy. I've listened a few times, and it's really helpful too. They take Q&A, invite different guests in relation to running your nonprofit during these uncertain times. And lastly, another one that I heard of through Executive Coaches of Orange County, they shared on their LinkedIn page about fundraising through the Corona crisis. And it's a weekly town hall with Amy Eisenstein. So she's a fundraising consultant. And she had great advice and tips on that weekly webinar that she holds. So that is pretty much quite a few webinars for you. So we're curious to pass it back to you all if you have questions. Maybe there's a resource that you know about that you want to share too in the chat room and put a link. So we'll pass it over to our audience, any questions that you have, resources that you need.
So we had a couple questions come through on the chat. First one, if we could discuss a little more around funding that is possible as a result of COVID-19. Amanda, if you want to maybe just highlight more of those resources that are on our webpage related to the CARES Act, and then maybe some of the financial assistance through Resilience Fund and disaster loans and all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to share something with everybody on this call. It's a sneak preview, actually, of our revamped database. So I actually didn't click on our database because it's a little clunky, and so I've been working on something that's a little bit prettier. And so if you look at the screen, let me see if I can share my screen here. Here we go. Hopefully everybody can see that. So I've been putting together this resource kind of reference guide to replace the database that we currently have, because like I said, it's a little clunky. I didn't share it with everybody because it just looks so clunky, but it is on our website currently. So this should be up soon on our website, but there's actually a section called Apply for Funding. And so we have a lot of different opportunities for organizations to apply for funding. So we have the Orange County Community Resilience Fund, which is through Charitable Ventures. There's small business grants through Facebook, and that includes nonprofit organizations. If you touch Long Beach in any way, we have the Disaster Relief Fund grant through Long Beach Community Foundation. If your organization impacts the Asian and Pacific Islander community in any way, there's a Giving Circle grant that's through LA, but also, you know, it's all of kind of Southern California. That grant's available as well. And then there's grants through Open Road Alliance. So these are all grant-based opportunities. They would not need to be repaid in any fashion. And so that's just going to be right here. So I can send this out to everybody who's on the call, and then this will be on our website shortly. So just wanted to let you know. With regards to both the CARES Act and SBA, there are a lot of resources out there. We'll have some on this page, and we do have some on our webpage as well. Basically, with the SBA, there's a lot of opportunities to apply for the loans. And through the CARES Act, there's a lot of opportunities for loan forgiveness based on if you meet certain parameters. So depending on the size of your workforce from a certain date, I think it's like March 24th through the end of June, if you're able to kind of maintain your headcount, you are going to be eligible to get reimbursement for the loan. And so it'll essentially be more like a grant than a loan. You can also speak with your local banks to talk to them about the opportunities for the SBA loans. There are a ton of great resources just in terms of being able to get more information about funding. So, and you can also advocate for more funding opportunities for nonprofits. I'm actually just going to click on this one because there's a really good one about, oh, I don't have it on here. I'll have to click back to share it with you all, but I think there's a lot of publications out there, and there's a lot of information that kind of breaks down really simply how to navigate the CARES Act and the SBA loans. So I'll be sure to make sure that that information gets out to everybody as well. And Christine, did you have anything that you wanted to add? Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Thank you, Amanda. Pretty much, you know, we want everybody, of course, to go to ONEOC as your main one-stop shop. Just wanted to add, you know, we have heard about a lot of the confusion going on with the CARES Act, so I highly recommend you attend those webinars. They're listed on our YNPNOC website. And then this presentation will be emailed to you. But I believe Fundraise is going to have that special guest webinar this week
basically running down the 850-page relief package and narrowing it down to the information that nonprofits need to know. So I highly recommend that webinar with Fundraise this week, and also with Cal Nonprofits talking about SBA. And, you know, reaching out on LinkedIn. I know a lot of people are posting, 1OC is posting, a lot of our nonprofit leaders, you know, follow who you can on LinkedIn for updates and information. And of course, on the Mobilize app, I think that's perfect, Amanda, questions on there and being able to interact with each other in real time. So we love that. Thank you, 1OC.
And I don't know if you all can see my screen. I have the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation website up. Can everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is right off our website, just right here off the CARES Act. And this has information about not just the CARES Act, but all of the emergency loans that are available for small businesses and nonprofits. I thought this one was particularly useful just because it has all the different opportunities here. So it helps you with questions. You know, am I eligible? What are lenders looking for? How much can I borrow? Will this loan be forgiven? And it gives you just kind of this step-by-step, and this is right on our website, and you can actually download the guide as well. So I just wanted to point everybody to this resource because I thought this one was kind of a nice consolidated version of everything that's going around, and it's put out by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation, so it's very, very credible, and it's kind of coming straight from the source. So that, like I said, right on our website, and we can make sure that that information gets out to everybody as well. So thank you to whoever asked that question about funding. And thank you, Christine, for sharing about all the great webinars that are coming up as well.
Awesome. Thank you. That's a great resource.
Awesome. All right, we had another question come in. I can go ahead and tackle this one. I think this is particular to the organization, but I think this would honestly be really helpful for a lot of people. The question is, we started updating our website in February. Do you think it's necessary to add COVID-19 section, even though we're focused on autism? My thought would be, you know, regardless of whether you're providing resources to your constituents or to your members or whoever you're serving around COVID-19, every organization's been impacted in some capacity. And so if you have easy access to update your website, I would encourage you to include a small section, doesn't have to be big, about how your organization is specifically tackling the issue, the adjustments you've made, whether that's in your hours that you're open, the services you're providing, just to have it be an easy access point for, again, your constituents to be able to be up to date with how you're serving that population. So even though it's in the context of autism or homelessness, we're all being impacted in some way. So I would encourage you to include something related to what you guys are doing on your website if possible, or newsletters are highly effective, or if you have an email blast, whatever you want to do, but over communicating in this time is definitely helpful. So that'd be my thought. I'm not sure if Christine or Amanda, you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, that's great, Kevin. I completely agree. And I would suggest definitely putting something kind of on your homepage about it, because I've been on so many websites the last few weeks, and the ones that kind of have COVID-19 front and center on their webpage, like I just click right on it and I see what those organizations are doing. So for your constituents and your population, I feel like they would really appreciate you having that there. And then it's something you can push out, as Kevin stated, in a newsletter or even on your social, and just say, hey, we're here to support, you know, our community and our families. And here's how we're doing that. And even if it is, you know, positive stories, maybe it's not resources, but maybe it's positive stories of how you've engaged with your constituents during this time, or you're asking, hey, how can we help and support you during this time? We're here, we have the resources, we have the bandwidth. What can we do for you? And so I think it's, you know, there's different ways to approach it, but I think putting the issue front and center that everybody's dealing with and being relevant right now, I think is really critical. So just wanted to add that piece. Christine, I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to add.
I mean, I completely agree with Amanda and Kevin. Pretty much, yeah, what you were saying is what I've been hearing on a lot of different nonprofit leaders in the fundraising area and beyond. talking about that they had major campaigns going on. So they held on to their mailings that were pre-COVID because it's not relevant and sensitive to the current time. So I agree with you both that, you know, having a COVID message, you know, what you're doing at these times, and how important it is to, you know, continue to communicate your mission. It's so important to continue your mission, even if you're not on the front lines of COVID. So those are some key messages, what you both are saying that I've been hearing from a lot of nonprofit leaders right now. So I think that's great advice.
Awesome. Well, there wasn't any other questions in the chat box. I'll go ahead and give you guys 30 more seconds. If you have a few more questions, go ahead and type those in. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and kind of wrap up. And like we said, this will be sent to you with some other resources. But if you have any lingering questions, go ahead and throw those in the chat box now, and we'll do our best to address those really quick.
Or for those that may not have access to the chat box, if for some reason you're just on your phone and you're listening in, but you're maybe not looking visually, if you want to just jump in with the question, we're open to have you doing that as well.
I was going to mention too, Amanda and Kevin, if anybody wants to share any links or resources in the chat, as well as, you know, anything that you found helpful.
I'm seeing a question come in actually about the Mobilize platform. I'm happy to share a little bit more about it just while we're all here together, if that would be helpful. I actually found this app as I was looking for a way for all of us to start communicating in one place. And I was looking at a variety of different functions, and, you know, there's Facebook groups, there's LinkedIn groups, and I was like, okay, but like, what's a way that we could kind of put everything with like events and files and just be able to kind of organize and coordinate conversations really easily, as well as chat easily. And so this platform is actually free. So for those of you that have organizations that are member-based, or you have a large team, or you have a lot of different groups that you're working with, I think this is a really, really useful platform because it's free for up to 5,000 users in your community. You can have one larger community and create a bunch of smaller sub-communities. So our large community is the Orange County Nonprofit Support Network, for example, and we kind of have this sub-community of the CEO Forum. And so anybody that's in the CEO Forum gets automatically added into the support network, which is really cool. And then for those that are in the support network that are in an executive director or CEO position can request to be added into this. And so as we create more subgroups in here, kind of depending on the parameters, like if it's somebody in a specific position, we may just ask that they're in that position in order to join. But if it's a topic area, you know, we can have it where people can just jump in. And so what's nice is anybody can post in here. Anybody can invite someone else to participate. So if you click in this, you can actually see like this is what it looks like when you go to register, and you can customize these. So if you have specific things that you want people to ask, you can make them required. You can have them show up for people. So I have first name, last name, job title, and org. So if I look at, you know, who all of our members are, look back here. If I look at all of our members, we see that they have their titles, they have their organizations, we have their names. You can add a picture if you want to. I can do a direct chat with any of these people, and that also goes to their email. So if they're not necessarily replying on the chat, they're able to get it in an email and reply to me via email. So it's really, really easy and user-friendly. Like I said, I had never used this before, and I just kind of got this up and running in a really short amount of time. And like I said, I like the events because you're able to just kind of put all the information in one place, and you're able to see everything that's coming up. And so these are all upcoming. You can see all the past as well. And people can subscribe to this calendar. So if they want to say, hey, I want to be informed of every event that's in the Nonprofit Support Network, they can do that. If there's any files, I don't have any files in this one, but like I said, in the CEO Forum, I have a lot of files. So I have our meeting minutes that we've gone through. So they're in here, so you can download those. So if you miss the call, you can have those. I'm able to, this is what it looks like on the back end too. So you can go in and approve people. So like I can approve people who are pending to get into the CEO forum, depending on their title. And so I just feel like this has been a really, really neat thing to use. And so for those of you that are considering it for your own organizations, I highly recommend it. And for those that are looking to get more engaged with the community, you do not have to be a 1OC member or anything like that. We're opening this up to everybody because this is the time that it's very critical to accelerate nonprofit success for all of us. And we don't want that to be a barrier for your participation. We want to make sure that we're able to get everybody the resources that they need right now, whether or not you've worked with us before. And so it's just a really exciting way to be able to meet, new people and to leverage resources to share stories and to support one another. So that's just a little quick overview of the Mobilize platform. Like I said, it's free. So if you want to test it out, I would highly recommend that you do so. I really, really like it.
Awesome. Well, that was it with regards to questions. We appreciate you guys all logging on and taking the time. Like we said, we'll be sending this recording to you as well as some other links and resources. If you have any questions at all, feel free to email us directly. And yeah, visit our resource page, get connected on the Orange County Nonprofit Support Network. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate all the work that you're doing. And like Kevin and Amanda said, we're here for you. We're so fortunate to have 1OC. So thank you, Amanda and Kevin and all the 1OC team for everything you're doing right now. We really appreciate it. So I hope everybody stays strong and stay healthy.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We so appreciate you and all of the amazing things that you're all doing. Keep up the great work. I know it's really challenging right now, but we're all here and we're all in this together. And if there's anything that we can do to support you, please don't hesitate to reach out to us.